Hey, so it's 7:35 p.m. It is April 27th. I believe it's Thursday. I think it's Thursday. Let me just double check. Yep, it's Thursday, all right. I should have known. I had an upbeat, you know, mindset today. Not overly upbeat, but I was a little bit more positive, I guess, than I usually am. And that's probably because Thursday is my favorite day. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here and make a video, mainly for my mental health. I mean, obviously, I've talked a lot about my issues on YouTube and my blacklisting and people doing weird stuff to my channel. And so I understand that, my videos are not getting a lot of views. I really can tell you that I agree with that. Not agree with the fact that people blacklisted me. No, I don't agree with that at all. But I do understand that my content, I have not been putting out content that is very educational. But whether I was putting out educational content or not, my channel's been blocked, which puts me in a situation where I feel extremely demoralized because, what's the point, right? This is the kind of stuff that these people do. So I don't want to go into the purpose of me making videos at this point. I think it's really important is because for reasons relating to mental health. It's not a good thing for a person to be in isolation for long periods of time. And like I mentioned about my surrounding, I can't be extremely friendly, most of the time in my life. I really want to, it does put you into a state of isolation a lot, even when the majority of your hate targeting is over. And I will say that when I started looking into my issues, talking about the people who've experienced what I've experienced, a lot of times, it creates problems after the fact, even though I will say it's an ongoing thing because you're always dealing with so-and-so knows this person, and they might have like a side interest, meaning that there's like a mutual friendship, and then they always feel like they want to be the go-between, and you don't want to have any of it. You just want to get on with your life. It's a disturbing issue, and it's very difficult to move on. But during your isolation periods, you spend a lot of time by yourself, and you don't have any activity, and the only thing that you have to think about is, what happened, because there's no new stimulating occurrences going on, around you. And I remember watching another targeted individual's video. She was talking about how important it is to build new synapses in the brain because, and I agree with that because, you cannot live in a state of basically nothingness. It's just nothing all the time. There's no stimulation. There's really nothing to look forward to. It's just the same shit over and over and over again. And it's important to try to seek out new experiences. I wanted to come on here and make a video, just kind of give an update about, what's going on with me. I did take the week of last week. I was off work. And it was kind of interesting because I haven't, literally had any time to myself in a very, very long time. I do remember, well, obviously, like when I was off from work, when I wasn't working, and I wasn't sure if I was ever going to work again, and I thought that I was going to end up having to blow my brains out because these people thought that playing with my life was funny. And the sad part is it's an unavoidable thing to talk about. Like I come on these videos with the hope of not talking about any of my issues relating to getting stalking, but somehow or another, in a small way, it will slip up because it's been too much a part of my life, especially since leaving, the farmer's place. Who, and I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, because the more I start thinking about this, I should have sued that man, and I'm sorry that I didn't, because I would still be dealing with the trauma, but I wouldn't be worrying about me dying in a ditch 10 years from now. I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't be worried about any of that. There's a lot of serious issues that are relating to my mental health that I find extremely disturbing.
relating to this targeting issue. And, I understand that I am not the kind of person who ever wants to cause conflict in life. I really do believe when I say I am a live and let live person, I'm going to tell you that is 100%. I respect the right of other people to live their life however they want. Because I understand life is precious. I am 52 years old, not ashamed to say it. I've always been one of those women who don't have any issue with my weight, my age. Some women are like, oh, I'm 52, but I'm going to try to get away with saying I'm this. No, I'm not going to do all that. I'm not ashamed to be old, okay? I'm not ashamed to be old. But, a lot of time has been taken out of my life. What I wanted to do after Murray, I don't care. I'll say is do the company name, Murray Family Fucked Up Farms place. What I wanted to do is get on with my life. More than anything in this world, just get on with my life. Forget, these wicked people, which I will always consider wicked. When I think about the issues that went on and the meaning behind it, why I was discriminated against, on and 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 on, I should have wrapped this town up in lawsuits. Okay, and maybe I can't. I don't know, because I know when this whole thing started, it was like, people were playing a lot of games, and they weren't, lawyers were acting like they didn't see the point in this case because they don't understand what human trafficking is. And this, I want to back up a little bit. And I know that this topic kind of pisses a lot of people off. Okay, because when people hear the word genius, they automatically think white dude, somebody that looks like Albert Einstein, or Stephen Hawking or something like that. There's different kinds of geniuses, and there's different levels of geniuses. And yeah, I am a genius, okay? I think differently than people, okay? And I know that people try to make attempts to try to change me or try to dumb me down, okay? And I feel as though once I understand something is true or right, I am not going to go the other direction, even if it is the majority of thought, because I'm going to go along with other people. If I know that something is wrong, I'm not going to do it, okay? I do believe very deeply in my life's path and the things that I do. So, like, if I think something is going to have some sort of adverse effect, I'm always going to be strong enough to say it. Whereas most people, they don't have the same mental strength as someone like me. They don't have the mental strength. They tend to give in to peer pressure, they'll do whatever, and I'm the kind of person, I always focus on what I value. And what I value is living a life, to me, that has purpose, that has value. And I think, if I see something or somebody presents something to me that's going to, in my mind, lessen the quality of my life, or it's not going to benefit me, in fact, it's going to end up harming me or whatever, I don't care what the group says, I'm not going to do it. And I understand humans very, very well. Like, I understand the selfish nature of people. Whereas other people, they understand that maybe their buddy might be a little shady or maybe whatever, but I'm going to tell you right now, my view is that I believe in individual happiness more than collective happiness, because the majority of people will not care about you when push comes to shove. And I've experienced this so many times, and I've seen other people experience it, and I've read about it over and over and over again. And I think that people wonder, like, well, what motivates Maria to do things, whatever. I just do. Because of my mental strength, my intelligence, meaning there's a lot of logic behind this decision. It's like I will not. There's something in me that makes it so that I cannot. I will be more unhappy to let something, or me be affected by something that I hate, that's making me miserable, than to not stand up and say something and change it or do something. I don't want to suffer. Like I feel like I've suffered a lot in my life. Like I've suffered because, there are things that happened to me when I was a kid. And this time, when I was in my 40s, it meant a lot for me to be able to have that second chance at life. So when I left the Murray family fucked up farms place, which I personally think should be like, I'm not even gonna say it, okay? When I left that place, okay, I wanted to get on with my life and do different things and go back to school and whatever, I wanted to pick up, and year after year after year after year, I fought, kept making these videos over and over again, and it's been hell. And I will say throughout the course of the going down the rabbit hole as to every single thing that I started to discover and understand, it all became extremely shocking to me. The motives of people, the behavior of people, the abuse of what was going on, everything, it was a lot on me. But anyway, I want to go back on the subject of the touchy subject of the genius issue. Now, I know that when I took this test, and the test really is not that of an issue, but I know they said, oh, she's an artist, okay, whatever. And I understand. The thing is, I understand who I am. I do, okay, but I also understand as a woman of color, it's very important for me to, what's the word for it? It's important for me to be able to survive in this world, to make a living, okay? And I was upset, not because I felt as though it was like taking a pot shot at me by calling me an artist, but I do think that by calling me an artist is totally racist. And I will tell you why, because it's as to say that someone of color cannot be intelligent. I will tell you there are geniuses in every great race of people, but you're more likely going to read about white geniuses because we live in this country and this is not, they want to focus on the accomplishments of Eurocentric people. I fully understand that. It is not about me trying to show off or one up people. I'm a very quiet person. But the whole thing about the artist thing is it's a form of discrediting me. And I felt angry because these people were throwing my life up in the air, devaluing what I needed to do to survive. I didn't want people, I think they felt as though that my life was all mapped out. They were going to plan my life. How dare you try to plan my life? Tell me what I'm supposed to do, and then you find what I was supposed to. I was not supposed to have any enjoyment in my life at all, and that really affected me, I don't think just because you're a genius, you're automatically going to be successful or anything. There's a lot of people who are geniuses that die on, park benches because they're poor and broke and whatever. It's all a matter of being discovered and being able to apply whatever is in your mind and make some sort of creation, maybe sell it, whatever it is you do. You still have to do something. You can't just sit there and get paid to be a fucking genius, But do I think that, trying to call me an artist instead, or failing to literally going out of your way to discredit someone, it almost seems like it's a cover-up, like it's like, you don't want to give this person their proper credit, like you don't want to acknowledge it. And I will tell you, anybody who will not give you your proper credit will never be your friend. This is the truth. They won't. Because in their eyes, you are always less than them, and they will always treat you that way. These people who got into it, including the fucked up farmer, he can kiss my goddamn black ass. Okay? I'm sorry, but he can. I wish to God I would have sued your fucking ass. I wish to God I would have. I wish to God I would have sued your ass. And at the time, I think people didn't understand what the connection was. The connection is you denied me my rights. Okay? You trafficked me. You basically made it so that I lost my rights and endangered my life. And you sat there and you spread my fucking life, business, whether it was real or not, and it probably wasn't, all over the goddamn place. You know what I mean? You open me to people who I should not know. Like you're exposing this person to danger because other people don't know you, but now they're pointing the attention to you, having people calling you in for fake job interviews and that sort of stuff. Okay. Um, so that sort of trauma, somebody zapping your life and you screaming for it and telling you people, please don't do this to me, don't do this to me. We're talking about incest, we're talking about religious rights, we're talking about things that I cannot deal with, like somebody literally treating you like you are not a human being in broad fucking daylight. Okay, bringing you in, always have some sort of dialogue about you, and and it's always this gossip, and they're never going to present you in a positive light ever. Okay, I'm not ashamed to take care of my body. I'm not ashamed of it. I have very high standards, and I believe in my standards. I believe in my way of living, and it's not about being sexy. Okay, I will tell you, when I eat well, my mind opens up into areas, and I don't even want to explain why I do it. Everyone knows you're supposed to eat well, okay? And I don't want people telling me who it is I'm supposed to care about, or who it is I'm supposed to, like, am I getting married, am I not getting married? It's like, just, this was a scandal that I was affected by year after year after year after year after year, and you can't expect somebody to just be okay with that. There are serious psychological effects of somebody, number one, being in isolation, number one, being blacklisted, somebody playing with your life. That's when you're calling somebody in for a job interview and saying, hey, psych, we're not going to hire you, until you make a really oppressive and what do you call it, compromises. Oh, you can't get a job until you become fat, and you can't get a job until you become what the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, you're basically telling somebody to kill themselves. Okay, because obviously a person wants to live in the best way they possibly can, and you're basically telling them to disfigure themselves. And I'm sorry if you're overweight, not being offensive, okay, but if you have stretch marks, that sort of stuff, and you're asking and forcing that on somebody, you are basically saying disfigure yourself or don't get a job. Okay, and you're making this an issue. That's threatening. That's life fucking threatening. So of course, throughout all this time, I'm thinking it should have been arrested with a hair issue. Okay, but then you start bringing all these other issues. Maria should be a fucking goddamn millionaire. Okay, and I sit here and I deal with a reduced quality of life. Okay, like I don't have friends like I should have. I should have friends. And don't sit here and say, oh, you don't have friends because you're different. You're blah 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 blah. That's not true. I don't have friends because I have a circus show around me all the fucking time. Whether I want to or not, there's some sort of bullshit dialogue with these people orchestrating it all the time, and I get tired of it. You know what I mean? But I remain strong, and I get up and I do what I need to do and get on with my daily life, But still, the quality of life is terrible because I should be able to go out and say, hey, you know what, I want to go out and meet people. Hey, how are you? And I'm the kind of person who's like that. I'm a very social person. People won't know it. They don't know it. They don't see it in me because I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to deal with any fucking triggers. Okay? So I'm very held back, but I am the kind of person who likes to converse, to talk, to exchange ideas. I'm, very, very outgoing. You know what I mean? But it has reduced the quality of life, And I find, that in my life, everything has to be in like order. I'm very I like a lot of activity, and when I feel like I'm cut off from certain things, it just makes me feel less enthusiastic about things. And I'm the kind of person who's very high energy. I've always been very high energy. I'm not used to this constant gloom that goes over my head all the time, And, I think that there's a lot of impulsive people in in the workplace. Like, you know, they think they understand what sexual harassment is. They think they do, but they don't. Because they sit there and they, you know, want to point the finger and gossip about you and talk about this and blah, blah, blah. I will tell you though, if I was somebody, which I think a lot of people think that just because you take care of your body that you must be the kind of person who's going around sleeping with a bunch of people. And I think that's because obviously they think that if they had your body, or if they were a lot less, if they had a slender body, leaner body, then they themselves would go out and feel more attractive, and they would go out and have relationships and be more promiscuous or whatever. This is something, if you immediately assume that somebody's going to do something, then generally you're the kind of person who would do that yourself, right? But no, I'm not. I've always wanted to live a life with high standards. You know, I always wanted to. When I was a kid, I struggled with my weight a lot because I had an overweight mother and I didn't like it. And I didn't like the impulsive eating type thing. And I do. The reason why I do have higher standards is, and I'm able to live out those, because I think deep down inside, a lot of people wish that they had like the drive to, like, some people want to go to the gym. Now, I am not a gym person. I don't need to be chiseled. I don't need to be ripped or anything like that. I'm content with who I am. But there's some people, some women want very, like, you know, like tight butts, and they want this, and they want like arms and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I think that looks good. Okay, I like it myself. I think it looks great. But they wish they had the drive to do it. And the thing is that many times people set these goals for themselves, and I know that they do. I've seen them. I hear them talk about it all the time, but they fail. And the reason why they fail is because of their peer pressure. They allow other people to steer them in a direction that they didn't want. I will tell you, when you allow yourself to do that, you're stabbing yourself in the back. Like, you're literally shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, you're in your foot, because if your friend cares about you and they know that you want to take care of your body, they would put you in situations to where you have to make a compromise. They would say, oh, okay, well, I understand. You already told me that you're trying to lose weight. Why don't we go to these places, or look at places, you know, if they're going to invite you out to lunch, or if they wouldn't bring in that box of donuts when you just said a few days ago. I'm not saying that, you know, just because one person's saying that they don't want to eat donuts, that not everyone should have. That's ridiculous, okay? Because donuts and things like that are part of the office, okay? They are. But what I'm saying is, if you say you don't want them, I don't want it. Let it go. It doesn't need to be this pressure. Why do you want somebody to gain weight? Why do you want somebody to be something that is less than what they're supposed to be? Nobody wants that. And the very fact that people would want something like that, or expect that, or force that onto somebody, to me, it's mental illness. When I first started, like, looking into gang stalking, they were talking about how, like, mentally disturbed, like, some of these people are. And I think of it like that way myself, because I'm the kind of person I don't interfere with other people's lives. It doesn't interest me to know what other people do, or who they're dating, who they're not dating, how old these people are, and I'm not nosy, okay? I'm not. Maybe it's because I am very content with my life, and I don't have that need to sit here and, like, gossip about other people and tear other people down. But I will say, whatever reason I take care of my body, obviously people know, and they've surveillanced my house before. They've followed me. I think one time they even had my phone tapped. I mean, these people are ridiculous. They know that I don't. But it really angers me that somebody would want to think that, or would try to make it so that they would want me to explain what my motives are. I don't need to explain my motives to anybody. And I'm very offended by the entire dehumanizing actions that were taken against me. The following, the surveillance element. Like, it's, to me, you cannot treat a human being like that and expect them to be normal. You can't. Okay? And so this is the purpose of this video, is to just talk it out. I didn't want to talk about gang stalking. I didn't want to talk about that. I didn't want to talk about the stupid farmer who I really wish was off the face of this earth. I didn't want to talk about any of that stuff. Okay, but it comes up sometimes because of I can't help it. It's a trauma. And what I need is I do need new experiences, and I don't know how to go about getting them at this point. I don't know how to go. I ask myself every day, how do I go about getting new experiences in my life? I don't know. I don't know. You know, I have no idea. Like I feel lost. Like literally, that's how I feel. I feel like I don't know what the fuck now. Like, you know, like 10 years ago when I left that retarded fucking farmer's place, I kept thinking, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go do this, this, this. I had fear because I didn't think people were out there like sabotaging, blacklisting me, thinking that they had some sort of right over me. That pisses me off so bad. What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay? And now I'm just like, I really fucking don't know what I'm doing in my life. Or what's the purpose of putting or applying myself to anything, or why I should give a fuck about anything. And excuse my language, but you know, I'm at my house and I'm relaxed. And you know, like I said, when it comes to human trafficking, it's something that really should be taken seriously. And a person who's doing this to another human being, they should be stopped immediately. And I also think that people should pay more attention to people who are being harassed in the workplace, because there's something a little deeper than that could be going on, that you might think is just a topic of conversation to kind of poke and laugh at this particular person. But this particular person that you're poking and laughing at could be having their life threatened. You know, and you're contributing to it. You know, I think that's my biggest issue is my anger and my hatred towards people to dehumanize and belittle my life the way that they did. Okay, so no, I'm not somebody who is just going to get over it. I can't. I wish I could. Just like go to sleep and just wake up and like, hey, I'm not pissed off anymore. But it's there, you know, and it's a direct result of what these people did. So fuck you, Steve Murray.